We want to honor David Clubb. He's a great man. He passed away now, but he was the man instrumental of stocking hybrid stripers into Lake Norman, the man most responsible for getting the hybrid stripers in Lake Norman. And that's a long story, so I'll begin with a phone call that we received from Southland Fisheries in Hopkins, South Carolina. It's a 200-acre fish farm and hatchery.
Welcome to the show, everybody. That was Sam Newton, aka Rawhide. He's an OG of Lake Norman. He was him and David Clubb initially stocked Lake Norman many years ago with hybrid striped bass, and if it weren't for them, we probably there's a chance we wouldn't even be fishing for them on Lake Norman right now. So I went and did an interview with him today. I met him and Russell. I met Russell at his house today, and we interviewed Sam for, I don't know, at least an hour. And that interview will be up on the Hybrid Striped Bass Association's page and my YouTube channel and Facebook. So that's something to look forward to. What's going on, guys? What's up, Hovis?
What's up, homeboy?
Hey, JR.
Just sitting here listening to y'all. Go ahead, what you got to say.
Hey, JR. Jeff Bill said, post he can't find your YouTube link. He said he can't find you on YouTube.
It's Jeff, it's New School Fishing. It's NUSKOOL. We had a discussion about that. Years ago, we had a discussion about that, and I remember Catfish Dave was saying I needed to change my name because nobody could find it because it's such a unique name. So yeah, I never did change it. It's still New School, NUSKOOL. It's spelled all weird, so maybe that's why I don't. Maybe that's nobody watches.
Before we get into the main topic tonight, tell us how your and Dave's meeting went. I've seen that on Facebook.
Me?
Yeah.
Me and Dave?
Didn't you meet him somewhere? I seen a picture of you and him, look like y'all were shaking hands.
That was at a catfish conference years ago.
Oh, that wasn't recently.
No, that was an old picture.
Oh, okay.
I mean, didn't he look like so much younger in that photo, though?
I didn't really pay a lot of attention.
No, I did. I definitely did. I had a big beard.
What's going on, Chris?
What's up, homeboy?
Just listening to Peter here. Gonna see what the tips and techniques are gonna be for the 4th.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's talking about the HSBC.
I have no idea what y'all talking about. No clue.
You made a comment on Facebook that you were going to inform us of some stuff, so to hold on. So we're waiting.
We'll get to it later on. There's not much to inform. We'll talk about a few things here and there, when it comes up. But
it's the Bodie Bass tournament.
It's up right now.
Skipjack. That's a key success.
That's a fact.
So, Hovis, you owned a bait tank company for years and made bait tank Shad Shack. If you were going to stock a lake with hybrids, where would you stock them and when? Like, what would you look for? What would be the perfect environment, in your opinion, to stock a lake if you were going to bucket stock it?
I don't have a clue about stocking fish or when to do it or where to even buy them. You really got to do some investigating, even to where to buy them from to begin with. But
I guess you'd have to buy them from a hatchery.
Yeah,
you probably have to have a license. Or, I don't know. I know a friend of mine stocked his pond with crappie and brim. I don't know what he had to do to get to do that, or if you could if he could have stocked it with hybrids if he'd wanted to. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about stocking fish or where to even get them. I know where to buy some trout at.
No, Rawhide was telling us today that when him and David Clubb stocked Lake Norman with hybrids, they stocked them in 3 foot of water. And that's what the biologist, that's what they told him to look for. I don't know why. I don't what the rhyme or reason is behind that, but 3 foot of water. He told us in the interview where and everything he stocked them, and that's going to be up on the video that I post soon.
When they stocked them, did they tell you the amount that they actually bought or got initially?
I think he did. You know, Russell pretty much conducted the interview. I was just the cameraman. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, I was trying to pay attention, but I was also trying to make sure I was getting decent footage and decent audio and all that kind of stuff.
Well, did y'all cover the fact? I mean, and I don't know when he did this, but don't you have to have permission to just, especially releasing that many quantities of fish?
Oh, he did. They did it illegally. It was
Yeah.
100% illegally. Yeah.
Just the same thing as with the
Sam-
herring. Nobody wanted herring up there neither, but they in there now.
Yeah, and I think that Rawhide may have had something to do with that too. So that's coming.
So
That's
it just
also
voted on itself.
that's also in the video. And you know, Rawhide he's 85 years old, so I don't think he really cares.
That's right. Yeah.
No,
He told us
Now,
a lot
what
of
the
good
water
information.
quality like on is Norman? Do they mess with y'all's water like they do at
They
home?
Lake
do.
Norman.
Want to?
Norman is a very clear water, deep lake.
Let me touch on this right quick, Peter. Lake Norman, out of the other than Lake James, Lake Norman was the only lake that didn't have PCB warnings. You know, 1 meal per week, 1 meal per month, and all that jazz. They didn't have those restrictions on Lake Norman for many, many years. It was only up until, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago at the most. They put restrictions on Lake Norman. They take tissue samples. Biologists take tissue samples from 5 species of fish: crabby, catfish, hybrids. I don't know what else.
Brim catfish.
And they test it for PCBs, and it was always well under the levels of where they would have to place restrictions on them. And up until, and that's the weird thing about PCBs is they've been outlawed since 1977, I think, and they continue to hang around. And one of the things that they did, and Rawhide touched on it in the interview, was they used to spray for mosquitoes on Lake Norman back years ago. They would, up around the state park area, from the dam, all the way down through the state park area, they would spray for mosquitoes. And a lot of the things that they were using to spray for mosquitoes was used diesel fuel and the liquid from transformers. They were just basically trying to figure out using an excuse just to get rid of crap. And you could see oil slicks from the diesel fuel and the stuff from the transformers. They finally, luckily, thank God, they stopped doing that. But yeah, I think that we're still reaping the consequences of lackadaisy restrictions on dumping and even our own government, spraying for mosquitoes when most likely it was just from people's standing water in people's yards, and it wasn't even from the lake because the lake is moving water. There weren't any mosquitoes hatching from the lake. So.
interesting.
So Hovis, you and your wife Dory, y'all caught at least one nice striper. I'm talking, mountable striper from the Catawba chain. Anyways, I mean, it was a teenage fish, wasn't it? Y'all caught a couple of years ago on Lake Rodians.
It was probably bumping 30. It was upper 20s. It was a pretty
Wow.
good fish.
That's a great fish.
Yep.
I fished Norman for years, and I probably never caught a striper over, probably 10, 12 pounds. My buddy, they had the big striper kill in 2013, I think it was, and they started stocking the hybrids. They haven't stocked stripers in years. So if you catch a striper out of Norman, it probably come over from Lookout Shoals. And
That's right.
my buddy of mine, Alan, his brother Wes, they were up there fishing around the train trestle upriver and caught a 20-pound striper.
Yep.
How lucky is that?
That's
Just
right.
keep-
Oh, wash over
They had
our
a-
lookout.
He got it mounted. It's on his wall. 20-pound striper from Lake Norman. That's something that I'll probably never do in my lifetime.
Now listen, Dory heard what you just said, and she said beginner's luck.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember telling her, if we're gonna go fishing where we got a chance to catch a good one. And a couple hours later, we had a good one. I mean, I don't see why you call that luck.
So it's been years now, Chris. It's been years. So can you tell us where you were, what you were doing, how you caught that fish up there?
I can tell you exactly where I was. If you put in at Roadhiss, go at the Castle Bridge, go under the bridge. There's a big flat over on the right. We was just making circles out in the channel, up on the flat, and we didn't make but about 2 circles and caught that fish.
Yeah, you're talking about the flat. As you go under Castle Bridge, you have to really stay away from that sandbar right there. You'll bottom out as you're if you were going up river. There's like a narrow
Yep,
channel there,
there you
right?
go. If you're going up river, it's up there on the right. You know, years ago when you went under the bridge, they had them little floating cabins out there on the right. I think all that's gone now, but there's a big flat out there. You got the rock bluff on your left, and that flat's on the right. And we're just pulling that flat. And she's about
That's
right.
shallow.
We got lucky, but I mean, oh yeah. We was in 4 or 5 foot of water, middle of March.
Yeah.
I mean, it was time for them. It was a good
March?
time to be there.
That's a little
I've
early.
seen some 15, 20 pounders caught in the last few weeks up there. There's still good
What's
fish
March
up there.
early
Just-
for, JR?
Do what, Wes?
What's March early for?
March is early for Roadhiss. Roadhiss is they're getting water from Lake James, which is the very first lake on the Catawba chain. It's the most mountainous lake and it's the coolest lake. So that that water coming out of James is very, very cool. It's a lot cooler than our water like on Norman and Mountain Island, Wiley on down. And as spring approaches, and as the water temp gets up into the 60s, the dogwoods bloom and everything is like springtime bite is on fire. Roadhiss is always a little behind upriver. So when he said he was
It
up
is.
around Castle Bridge in March, I was saying that's a little early to really be.
Yeah, but Castle Bridge is, I consider Castle Bridge mid to low lake because
Right.
as far as the river, I mean, yeah, you're right. The river don't get hot till June or July
Yes.
if you're going way up the river.
Now, our chain, when I first started fishing and heard, about the Savannah River, I thought it was anything connected. For a couple of years, I always thought, because the way our river system runs up here, you got Joe Cassie, which is a very deep, very clear, very cold water lake. When I say deep, super cold, year round, even in the summertime, it's a very cold lake because it's mountain fed. Then you've got Kiowee. Then when you go from Kiowee dumps into Hartwell dumps into Russell dumps into Clarksville, blah, blah, blah. I thought everything was considered the Savannah River as a part of the Savannah River chain, but it actually don't start until you get to, I think it's T1. No, I'm sorry. What buoy marker is that? It's where the Tougaloo and the Savannah meet, and it forms is that right, Scott? Where the Savannah? Where the Tougaloo and the Seneca meet, and they call that T1, then that's considered the Savannah River from there all the way down. So, see, for years, I thought actually Kiowee and Joe Cassie was also part of the Savannah River chain of lakes, but it's not. It don't start until he gets in Hartwell.
Shithole.
Yeah, you're
Hey,
probably
we're
right,
talking
Scott.
We were talking about water quality. Now, I know Tennessee, everybody, I think anybody that's ever fished it there any amount of time knows, Milton Hill, that's where they built the bomb that they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. So we know why Milton Hill is so contaminated. But what about all the other lakes around there, like, say, Loudon?
It's super weird to me how each lake is so different. Like this lake can be way more contaminated than this lake, but they're on the same river. They're on the same channel. There's nothing separating them but a dam. So how can it be?
No. Melton Hill's totally different from Loudon. That's not on the same river system at all, is it, Chris?
No, you're
They're
talking
totally different systems.
Clinch and Tennessee River.
Yeah. And then you've got like Watts Bar. That's a totally different. But now you got Watts Bar. Then it goes down to
Watts Bar is part of the Tennessee River. It does branch off into the Clinch. The Clinch dumps out into the Tennessee River in Watts Bar, correct?
Yeah.
A few miles down from the dam.
Norris,
from Loud.
you got Norris, Melton Hill, Watts Bar, Chickamauga, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so what has polluted Loudon? Why have they got fish advisories on that lake?
I don't know.
It's PCB levels because the Tennessee River is absolutely beautiful. It's a teal green, clear water river, deep, a lot of flow, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the it's fertile, big fish. I mean, it's just absolutely the mecca of a fishery. But yeah, there's definitely very strict restrictions on eating the fish as far as the pollution goes, which is weird. It's so weird that wasn't there a plant that used to dump chemicals or something up above Loudon or somewhere along the Tennessee River? There was some kind of industry that used to.
I don't know about in Loudon. There's one in Watts Bar, right below the Melton Hill
Watts
Dam.
Bar.
Yeah.
Watts Bar. Yeah.
Yeah, if you put in Watts Bar right, oh man, what happened? If you put in Watts Bar right below the dam there and go down under that bridge right there on the right's where they used to dump in.
It's crazy.
I
mean, it just goes to show you that, not all pollution means, because some people will look at a lake, a nutrient rich lake like Watery, for example, Watery or Wiley, for example, it's muddy, and they think because it's like dirty to the visible eye that it's contaminated, and that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, there's that fan.
Yeah. So I'm muting myself from time to time.
Goddamn, Chris, do you ever smile anymore?
No, for some reason, the TV just cut off. I mean, we're sitting there talking to you, and I was watching the Carolina and Boston game, and it just cut off willy-nilly.
Well, okay. Well, then we get your full attention now. Dean Cox says he's got his. He says, Peter, I got my rigs and lead core. Is Dean fishing the HSBC? Surely,
I hope so.
Surely he's not driving all the way up here to fish that.
I hope so. I mean, the bigger the crowd, the better. Let's face it. I'd love to see 40, 50 boats. We all would love to see 40, 50 boats.
Scott Perry said Tennessee's. I think Wes is. We're switching back and forth. He said Tennessee people dump their outhouses into the river. That's where the pollution comes from.
I mean, more than likely, there's a good chance.
If you could find somewhere where they were actually dumping outhouses into the river, that'd be a good place to go catch bait. Gizzard shad love poop.
What about that bait hole on Rodius?
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. There's some things we can talk about and some things we can't talk about.
Nah, it's www internet. It's all on the internet now. Is it not, Pete?
That's definitely not. That's not on the internet. The only internet that's on is where I sent you some pins on the internet personally. I don't think that's actually on the internet anywhere.
Is it not?
Moving on.
The worst mistake that I ever know of, that in my time that happened on the internet, my buddy James Long was fishing and his wife took some pictures and she posted it on Facebook before somebody knew what happened and he could get it off. And somebody screenshot it after they caught all those 50 and 40 pound fish up there in about 3 hours. And it's been on ever since. Thank God for Facebook.
And somebody went up there and tied up to the stump for 3 years straight.
That is the date of the tournament is February 4th, Benji. February 4th. Come on up here. Drag that Carolina skiff up here to North Carolina.
Oh, man.
Get that ass wet.
What you gonna be catching them on, Peter? What's gonna be a hot ticket in a couple of weeks?
Oh, red worm. On Nightcrawler.
Red worm.
Peter
right.
uses those cheap ass long shank saltwater jig heads.
Don't be making fun of my dang coat hangers.
They're
Okay?
painted. Like
Don't
you
make
have
fun
to
of my
like
coat hangers.
jab something through the eye of it to even to clear the paint. It's just cheap,
Don't.
long shank, straight J, just very narrow gap. Just the cheapest, absolute cheapest jig head you could possibly imagine. That's what Peter uses, and
That's right.
he uses.
That's right.
I got some of them clothes
he's-
hangers. I got
he's
some of them
loyal
Peter
to-
special clothes hangers.
You're right. You do, don't you? That's
He's
right.
loyal to local. He supports local businesses by using some Striper Sniper soft plastics. Striper Sniper, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's a combination of that, those coat hangers, the whole combination there. Jig
Yeah.
heads, you name it.
Peter, nobody knows what Peter does, because if you just use what Peter has shown people that he uses and you go out there, you're probably not going to. What is Wes over there doing?
Goddamn, Wes.
What was that? A commercial?
Wes
having
is
a
going
commercial
into the
break?
archives.
That was a beer intermission break there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's February 4th, Benji.
Well, after that, I'm on your account. I can see everything you've got on StreamYard right now.
Oh, Lord, man. You might not want to click on some of that stuff.
No, I don't. I just accidentally. I'm glad I didn't click on that and put it on the screen. Damn.
Yeah, if you see something that resembles a booby, you might not want to click on
I
it.
see 3 things that resembles boobies. Why are you putting this on StreamYard?
Do you use a
Don't
stringer
say
or
something.
fish baskets to keep them schoolies alive for weigh-in?
Oh,
Well,
absolutely. Yes, all day long.
Peter, go
all
ahead.
Day. All day.
Peter
Which one?
Peter uses a bass fisherman live well to keep
That's right.
to keep his hybrids alive. It's a little live well. It's about this big. And it's
Why, do you gotta keep
the-
'em
the
alive?
Sprayer. You hit
You
the
don't have
switch. It's like, that's what Peter uses. It's not even like recirculating. It's just a live well with aeration. It's pathetic.
Peter,
Yo,
are you gonna mingle amongst the crowd this year, or are you just gonna leave again?
what's that? Maybe right here.
You
Are you
talking about
gonna
during the
mingle?
tournament, Chris?
After the tournament, are you gonna mingle amongst the crowd, or are you just gonna leave?
Oh, I always mingle with the crowd.
He always mingles.
I always.
He
No,
mingled last year.
no, not last year.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
last year. I think
Oh.
they took their money and run.
Oh,
no,
he's going way back.
no, I always mingle with the crowd. Always.
Well, the hybrid striped bass challenge has this is going to be what, the 3rd year, 4th year,
The 5th, I believe.
5th year. Okay.
And Hobus, there's a certain part of the crowd that I'll mingle with, and a certain part of the crowd that I kind of don't mingle with. You're a part that I would not mingle with because you're the skipjack crowd, and I avoid the skipjack crowd.
Let's see. You get Clive. You know Clive, the English feller.
I don't.
He's from England. Yeah, you know him.
I don't.
Clive. What is Clive's last name? Roberts, maybe. Anyways, big guy, and he talks like he's from England, and he talks like this, and he knows Lee Huffman. He's friends with him. He knows Peter Malik, and that's how he talks. And,
yes,
so-
I think I know exactly who speaks.
yeah.
Yes.
So he'll be in it. Lee Huffman will probably be in it.
Yeah,
Peter
he's-
Malik will be in it, and as my friend says, Peter Malachi. He's purposely
Let's not
mispronounces
forget
people's
Team
names.
Real Smoke. He'll be in there. you know.
Real Smoke will be. Well, Real Smoke's the tournament director,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah, so you gotta be in it. Oh God, here we go.
What about Chuck P? You reckon Chuck P's gonna show up this year?
Of course. Oh yeah.
Probably.
Who was that?
I hope Chuck P does show up because I got unfinished business for his ass. You know what I'm talking about. I have a
I
vendetta
hear y'all,
against him.
bud.
Well, why don't
down
they
his side,
have?
we're buds.
I think that they should have it in May. Why not have it in May? Is it
I
just
agree.
because it's the easy button?
It is.
Everybody
Yeah.
can. They're just okay.
What's
They
the
kinda-
average size? What's the average size hybrid in
You know, Wes, this year is very hard to say because they
In
changed
Lake Norman?
size limits and the new legal size is 20 inches. I'm going to say the average size keeper per se is about 20 and a half, 21.
How many pounds are you guessing.
Oh Lord.
This
3.
year, again, different. Let's say a 20-inch fish might be 4 pounds, I guess. So I'm going to say some teams might bring in 3 keepers. Last year was an oddball because I found some good fish. Who knows, but I'd say 15, 16, 17 pounds may be a pretty good stringer for 4 fish, possibly.
Yeah,
That's the
fish.
weigh-in 4 fish, Peter?
Yeah. If it's 4 fish, of course.
Hovis, you going to get in it? What?
No, I'm not.
Why?
I am not.
Anthony Johnson is. Damn, I'm guessing he probably will not be in that tournament.
Cornbread will not be in there. Yeah.
No, Anthony Johnson is a guide. He's a guide.
He says he is.
Yeah, there he's a. I think ain't he a member of the Concrete Cowboy Gang?
Oh yeah, he was a founding member.
He's definitely a cousin.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see
I
that
have
video?
Anthony Johnson planer boards that
Do you?
I found out that Chris Hovis's dad actually makes them. So I still have them. I've been trying to take the best care of them as I can. They're kind of
You have
looking a little
some that
rough
have,
nowadays.
You have some that have the Bushwhacker stickers on the side of them.
They got the Bushwhacker stickers on them. Yeah. I've
Now
had to
them-
replace
him
the
right there.
clips. Yeah, they're
Oh.
old. Yeah.
Now, Chris, is your dad still making the Zach Royce planter boards? He's still doing
That's
that?
where I'm going to be at in the morning, gluing some up for him. He's about all he can do now is put vinyl and stuff on them. He can't glue them up, so I got to go down there and glue them up. But that's okay. Yeah, he's still making them.
Good deal.
He won't sell them to me. I asked him last year. He said, "Go fuck yourself." Pretty much what it came out.
He always asks me first, Peter. He'll be like, "Who is this person?" I'll be like, "Don't even mess with him."
He shut me down, so I had to dang figure out a set of planter boards. I found something else.
So, do you have the Captain Max now?
No, I do not. I don't.
No, Captain Max.
No.
Well, I did find the Carolina game. It's back on. They're still winning. If you're just curious.
No.
What
For
is
now.
the
For now, right?
he's bringing?
Hey,
is
where
that
the
a
Tar
peach?
Heels ranked right now? Where they ranked?
Do what now?
Where are the Tar Heels ranked right now?
Oh, I don't know if they are or not.
Don't
What
look
does it
too
say?
hard. They're not. Okay, they're not.
I don't keep up with it.
Oh,
Until-
Mercer
I like that.
Outdoors will be in there.
Peter,
Who
what
will?
do we need to?
Mercer, he'll be there. He'll be at the.
Oh, David
Hybrid
Mercer,
Stripe
yeah,
National.
he'll be there.
What do we need to
Yep.
bring up or talk about that's going? You said you was going to explain this thing to us on the show tonight.
We'll get a little more detail. I think next week. Next week will be my last week in the show because
hell.
after
What
that,
does it matter, dude? It's not. You're not going to the goddamn moon. It's a
Well,
fucking.
let's put it this way: you got a bunch of moochers
Hell.
right here that are just watching this just to listen to what we got to say about Lake Norman.
I mean, what the
Let's face
fuck?
it.
We have 19 people watching, Peter. How many
Well,
of those
we
do you
on
think
the
is going to
plane.
fish the
13
HSBC?
of those aren't commenting because they're watching, kicking back, waiting for some words. To be
All right,
spoken
we got
about.
20 now. Everybody go hit that like button.
You
So
run
they're-
a damn plane. You run a
So
plane.
you telling me
in front
there's-
of another plane, and it's all over the fucking news. And now you don't want to tell us. Now you don't want to tell us what's going on about a damn lure.
I was busy coloring my coloring book. Okay, come on.
Damn.
Hellbenders. That's what he's using. Hellbenders. You guys know anything
Hellbenders.
about those hellbenders?
I don't.
You,
I don't know what they
you
are.
never heard of a hellbender? It's a lure, striper lure. No? Peter?
I
Wes?
actually have not heard of it. No.
A hellbender?
I'm not much of
Oh my
a.
God. Let me see if I can
I'm not much
download
of an archer
image.
guy. I'm just gonna throw that live bait on there and drop it down and hope for the best.
That's right.
Them old skipjack boy. That's right.
That's exactly right. Go up there to the dam,
Hey.
get some skipjack, come back down, cut them up, throw them on the bottom. There you go.
You catch
Hellbender,
bigger
here we
skipjack
go.
in Tennessee than the hybrid y'all catching in Norman.
Damn right. That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
you wouldn't understand. You guys wouldn't understand.
About what?
Well, explain it to us, Junior.
It's a hang on, I gotta save this image. I gotta show you guys what a hellbender is. that you don't know.
Oh,
Lake Norman, while he does that, I'll talk here a little bit. Lake Norman is a very tough fishery, man. I mean, it really is. It's a deep lake, clear lake. A lot of temperature fluctuation because you got a nuke plant, a steam station, and these fish move miles per day. You know, pre-fishing is paramount for this lake if you want to be pretty good in tournament. These fish, one day you'll catch them up high, the next day you got to fish them 40, 50 foot deep. You know, it really varies.
I'm gonna ask a question, but you ain't gonna answer it. But maybe you will. But how do I get my A rig to go 50 foot deep?
Downriggers.
Downriggers, 8-pound ball.
8-pound ball.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I'm gonna drop an 8-pound ball 50 feet to catch a fucking 2-pound fish.
3.5. 3.5. All right, come on, 3.5.
Huh?
You know, and I'll be real here. There's some days. There's some days that you must have a downrigger. There's some days that you can just troll them up top. It's fine. And some days it just does not matter of everything. You know.
I believe I would enjoy reeling the fucking ball up more than I would a 2-pound
Shit.
fish. I'm just saying.
I gotta show you guys what a hellbender is. I'm trying my best to download it here.
Struggling.
Yes. You know what? I might just look it up on my phone.
That's Sabisca rigs is not a bad idea, Scott.
Hey, we caught, let's see. I caught this on a sabiki rig about 3 weeks ago.
Damn, son.
Say,
Hey, let's be real here. In the last, I'd say 3 weeks, I think I've seen that photo like 47 fucking times.
And if you stay on this page and this show, you about
48 now.
more. Now
All
I
right.
get rid of it. Hold on.
well, I'll post that the collage that I like to post here.
That's
There
a
you go.
hellbender, guys.
I ain't never seen that in my life.
Looks like a peanut.
That's
It
old
does, doesn't
school.
it?
It's old school.
Hey, Bushwhackers on here. We live,
Who
baby.
is cornbread?
We live, baby.
Hey,
He
Doug
said,
Cole, Doug Cole did a live video a couple of days ago, and Anthony Johnson they were coming out of the diversion canal, and I think Doug got his name confused. He said, that's my buddy, that's the bush hog behind me.
Bush hog.
I saw that. The bush hog. He might have
just
done
what-
that on purpose.
Dean, that's just what David at Bottom Dwellers, that's what he prefers, and he buys 95% of the boards my dad's make, because that's just what I personally don't like them, but to be honest with you, anytime I get boards from Dad, I change that back clip and the front clip.
What is a
no more than I
curly?
fish
What is a
anymore. I
curly
got plenty of
clip?
boards in the building that ain't never been in the water.
What's
What
he
is
talking
it?
about, Hovis? The curly clip.
That curly clip on the back, the one that Mac uses, if I was going to use one, is nice because you just got to loop it one time. The one that Dad uses, you got to loop it about 3 times. It is a little aggravating, but that's what they like. So
Are you talking about a
Whatever.
corkscrew?
Corkscrew, talking about the corkscrue
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
I
I
like
back.
the
use
corkscrew.
the one on my planer boards. I use it where you just got to go in at one time.
one time, Captain Mac has those, and the ones Dad gets, you got to go around it 3 times. But
So during the whole Hartwell thing, we actually had to buy a set of Captain Max because we lost a board on a long 10-mile ride to another creek. Fucking blew out the boat, gone. Didn't want to backtrack. Like, shit, we need to buy a set, you know? So the Captain Max pulled pretty good, but man, for me, they were too damn stout, too heavy, a lot of drag as far as, you know, reeling the board in with a fish, if that makes sense, you know? So, I mean, they pulled good and all, but they were not my preferred. But like you said, those clips, I was not a fan of them. But otherwise, everything else was, I will say okay. I personally like the little corkscrew clip myself.
I do too. Yeah. What is the planer board brand? Bugs.
Water Bugs.
Water
Yeah.
bugs.
Yeah. They always had that corkscrew. And that's I got used to using those, and that's all I ever wanted to use. I can't stand the coastal snap swivels on the planer boards
Yeah.
anymore.
And that's all I like, is just old snap swivel.
What do you think about the
That's what I put
smaller
on
A
there.
rigs, Peter?
Catch you a 8-pound striper, and you'll regret the smaller A rigs.
No, yeah, you don't like the
Yeah.
small ones?
They will twist it up to a paper clip.
All right, y'all, we got a special guest fixing to come on with us.
Oh hell!
Did you see what Benji Smith said, Chris?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Wesley. After that heart attack, my sights went to shit. So I
okay.
gotta really focus and
No,
move the
you
phone
fine.
around to see it.
Oh.
So, no,
No, you good, buddy. Benji said, hold on a minute.
Dean
Benji said-
Cox,
Benji said send him 6 cents and he'll pay shipping.
well, okay.
Dean Cox said, what are the big white ones that so many use? I think those are probably clear boards,
Clear board, yeah.
Dean. Clear boards have the white foam on them,
That's right.
and they're cheap. Clearboard, out of all of the planer boards that are on the market today, the clear boards are probably the cheapest
That would be correct.
because you're talking about aluminum versus what?
I don't.
Plastic.
I don't.
Clear plastic.
Yeah, but that Lexan's probably expensive nowadays. Because all petroleum products are out the roof. But I don't know what kind of foam he's using. Because that's expensive too. Everything went up. But they are
Yeah.
the cheapest.
Sorry, Wes. Go ahead.
Scott Perry likes
Oh,
clear
okay.
boards, don't? Ain't that what he runs?
Oh, Scott. Yeah,
He does.
that's what I
yeah.
understand, right?
Scott is an ambassador. I think he
Yeah.
was on pro staff for Clearboard for a while.
Damn, son.
But that guy from Virginia, don't he really like him? Ain't his name like Johnny?
Johnny Mathena.
Yeah,
Yeah, he likes the
loves
clear
clear
boards
boards.
too, as well, right?
yeah, that's his go-to.
Yeah, that's
board.
what I was thinking.
He likes clear boards and Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he actually he hates Clearboards and Joe Biden.
He hates Joe Biden.
What brand board do you use, Peter? You're being quiet.
Yeah, I know. I have been quiet. So I like, personally, it's made by Extreme Fish Concepts. It's called the Plain Jane.
Is it a pool noodle board?
No. Well, I guess so. Yeah, kind of, sort of. But it does me well. It's what I've always used. It's, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'll
Nothing
use that
pulls
for
better than a pool noodle board.
It pulls
Yeah.
good. The thing is, I troll fast, as you know, and so that board.
Yes, they work great. They work so good. Pulling fat. They work actually better than the ones that Hovis and his dad make. But the ones that Hovis and his dad make they're like the low rants of planer boards. They're
Okay.
like that's what everybody wanted back in 2008. Everybody wanted them. That's what everybody wanted. Everybody wanted that HDS. That was the ticket. If you was a striper fisherman that was worth your weight in salt, you had a low rinse HDS.
Yeah,
It wasn't until
Extreme
later
Concepts.
that
That Extreme Concepts, that's up around where you live, ain't it? Peter?
Yeah, that's by Lexington. The board costs
Yeah.
$25, so it's not bad, and it's interchangeable.
for one
Yeah.
board or a pair.
What's that?
Is that for one board or a pair?
One board.
So $50 a pair.
$50 a pair, that's cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, we got a question up. Rusty,
Okay, what is it?
What's the basis of fish stocking and behavior, Hartwell hybrids versus stripers? And he said, I've got input on that on Hartwell.
Let me answer this being a newcomer to Hartwell, because I guess the newcomer might be able to add a little more insight as far as behavior, what I noticed from my first time out there.
Is
I
a
found-
newcomer, is that related to a cucumber?
I found no difference whatsoever. Where you caught hybrids, the striper were there. Yeah, I mean, I find no difference. Or stocking behavior, I guess. is there a certain number they stock of hybrids versus stripers? Is that what you're asking, or are you asking like how behavior-wise you catch them on the lake? You got to be a little more specific in the question there.
Now,
Catching wise, I didn't find a difference. Where I found hybrids, the striper were right there with them. The same place I caught 10-pound striper, I caught fucking 14, 16-inch hybrids or even bigger. So, I mean, their rule of thumb is always, where I've caught hybrids, striper are right there with them too.
All right, Rusty, check your Facebook Messenger in about 2 minutes. I'll send you an invite. The question for you, Hovis, for you, Pete, for you, JR. Now, a hybrid can withstand a little bit rougher conditions, or they can survive in water that striper can. Is that correct?
Yes.
That would be correct.
Yep. Mercer, I'm still waiting for my dang hoodie for the last year and a half. Just saying.
You looking to be pro staff?
Oh, of course, always. I'll hashtag it.
I sent you an invite.
Oh, pro staff.
If I had your boards, I'd be pro staff Hovis, fucking Shad Shack.
Scott Perry
board,
said it's the
whatever
aluminum that make them pull, homeboy, not the noodle. I disagree because
No, he's
I
right.
disagree.
The noodle gives you the buoyancy. It keeps it up, but the blade part of the planer board is where you get your pull.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the flotation. I'm not talking about. Listen, I understand the displacement of water. I understand the aluminum versus the plexi. The whatever is going to keep that material, that whatever's displacing the water, whether it's aluminum, plastic, polyethylene, whatever the board is made from, the pool noodle versus the foam is going to keep it high. It's going to have a higher buoyancy. It's going to keep it higher in the water, and it's going to pull harder.
No, you're up higher, but you get your pull from the blade. What's in the water? That's what's creating the restriction.
You get your pull from the mass of the board. Yes, correct. But hang on, we got Captain Rusty Griffin.
There's a lot more to it than just that, y'all. just start moving that rod back and forth and up and down and see how it works out.
I don't man boards, so I don't know.
What's up, Wes? How you guys doing?
What's up?
Hey, Mr. Rusty, how's it going, buddy?
Going very well. How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah, man. So a little bit about me. I got it on Hartwell from about 2012 all the way up until 2018. I made the transition down here to the coast. I'm down in Charleston, South Carolina now. So I studied the whole process of the fish kill, and I tuned into y'all's show last week and heard a lot, and was late to the show evidently, and kind of wanted to kind of spill a little input on what I saw after stocking programs that happened after the fish kill in 2013 and 14.
Now, are you talking on Lake Norman or?
I'm on Lake Hartwell. I got it on
okay.
Lake Hartwell from 2012 to 2018 before I moved down here to Charleston.
Okay.
But yeah, so a lot of the fish that I see, the hybrid versus striper, the way they act, the juveniles, and I'll call it hybrid up to about 3.5 pounds, juvenile hybrid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hybrids are hybrids and stripers are stripers. What you see a lot, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. It sounds like it's echoing real bad. What I saw a lot of whenever hybrids got up past about that 4.5 to 5 pound range, they became more of a striper than they did a hybrid. And you saw them get in deeper water. You saw them out in the river channels chasing bait, moving fast, chasing the blueback herring and everything. It's more or less a suspended fish from late summer on. Everything under than about 3.5 pounds on Hartwell would be more related to the bottom type pattern, 25 to 45 foot of water. That went on for all summer long. You saw them act more like a white bass, so to speak. And, that went on until they reached about that 3.5 or actually that 5.5 pound to 6 pound range. You see them start acting more like a striper did, That's what I saw personally, from the years up there.
So the
You know,
bigger a hybrid gets,
I'm
the more it
I'm
acts
shaking
like
my
a
head
striper.
here. I'm agreeing with you because so the hybrid fishing on Lake Norman, which is much further north there to you, a beast of a lake in its own. We're still kind of learning the fishery, and as of last year, I'm agreeing with that absolutely 100% because I fish the lake a lot, and I used to think that, in the wintertime, these fish come out to the main lake and they start feeding heavy and following schools of shad. But last year, my key to success from this most recent tournament was exactly that. I went to the old school Lake Norman pattern where times past the striper should be there in the middle of wintertime. And I went back there, and sure as shit, the big hybrids were there and not a single small one. My definition of big in my neck of the woods, we're talking 4+ pound fish. Okay, so 20 inches, 25 incher is getting on the big side. Not uncommon, but at this point, there's not very many, that big yet in this fishery. So I've learned that last year that they are definitely doing the same thing that the old school striper were from years back.
So that's one of my biggest gripes with the whole transition from stripers to hybrids on Lake Norman. When they stopped stocking stripers in 2013 and started stocking hybrids, I was hoping that they would act like stripers, and they did not. And so that's good news. So maybe now that they've increased the size limit on Norman, and it's still a 4 fish limit per person, hopefully as those hybrids get bigger, they will act more like stripers, and if they do, then that'll be a good thing.
Rusty, let me ask you a question while you're on here. You was a guide on Hartwell, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I know you're a guy, but I believe you'll be honest with me on this question. I know water quality had a lot to do with it, the way they did the water on Hartwell over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Do you, because I've always said it, I still believe that guiding, taking that many fish out of that lake, hurt that fishery. It wasn't all just water quality. I believe the guiding hurt it too. It's always been my opinion. What do you think?
Well, I think that what we saw is, so whenever we had the big fish kill of 2013, I think it was 2013 of August is when we saw it. You saw really how big of a school of fish was in that lake, right?
Yeah.
So when that fish kill started happening, it was about mid-August that year, and I found a school of fish between Big Powder Bag and Little Powder Bag on the road bed that leads out there to the river channel, just south of Long Point, you want to call it, on the opposite side of Big Powder Bag channel there. Those fish started out in about 80 foot of water on the bottom and gradually worked out to about 120 feet on the edge of the river channel. So I think Striper Tube, what's his name? Warren. What's Warren's last name?
Turner.
Warren Turner talked about how many fish he saw floating. So the scope of fish that you saw was probably, I'd say 75% of fish that were in Lake Hartwell, right? So if he saw thousands of fish on the surface, there were probably another 3 times that sunk to the bottom because they were so deep at that point. We're catching them 120 foot down on the bottom. Everybody was. Stan Bagwell, Buster Green, everybody was catching them 120 feet on the bottom before they all died. We were all talking about it.
Wow.
It's very seldom you get every guide on the lake talking together, especially Travis Long and all those guys. Like nobody
I've never
ever
caught them that
deep. Communicates except for in this point. It was a dire
That's deep. So that pretty much tells me there's no thermocline if they're actually down in the
bottom of the bubble, basically.
Bottom layer of the stratification. They're down there in the hypolymium.
They were on the bottom, one turn up, 120 feet, as deep as I caught a hybrid.
Wow.
And what was crazy about it is if you took a free line and chunked it out behind the boat that time of year, since late August, we had a lot of rain that year, that free line would be more lively with a blueback herring on it than when you brought it in after 30 minutes than it was in your bait tank.
Oh,
no
wow.
Doubt.
So that water was cool. It was a lot cooler than...
in the low 80s. I mean, if you want to call that cool.
But, I mean, you say lively. I mean, you would think that it would be oxygen deprived down that deep.
No, I'm talking about tossing a free line out that time of year.
Ah.
Usually a free line dies within 30 seconds of it hitting the water when the lake's typically down every year. It's typically down every year.
Well, gotcha. I heard a few people say, I went to a meeting a couple of years ago And I remember I did a live video on it, and the DNR. You remember that big meeting they had down there talking about Georgia and South Carolina was trying to get together and on the stocking and don't try to do this stuff with the water and control how they let the water down. And one of those guys, I think he kind of made the guy from the DNR mad, but he said, here's the deal. He said, y'all can sit here and blow smoke up everybody's ass if you want to. He said, y'all are wasting the state's money stocking this lake with striper because you're not going to take care of them. We all know that. He said, why don't you just keep dumping hybrid in it, make it a good hybrid lake, and let it go at that, because y'all never cared about the fish. You've never took care of the fish. He said he didn't understand how the striper got as big as they did anyway to begin with. But he said now, he said, y'all are not going to take care of the fish. He said, just stock hybrid in it, quit taking people's money because the striper's going to die anyway. And then they run him out of the meeting.
I honestly think that the amount of fish that they stock in that lake per year and the amount of fish that are killed by human hands has not like ever reached the point of what nature's taken, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Over the fish kill years. I mean, yeah, you can point the fingers at God saying, oh man, they're killing them all. But I would venture to say that I don't know how many guys are up there now. Like I say, it's been 4 years since I've been up there. But back in the day, we all targeted hybrids. I mean, that was your daily pattern. They do the same thing every day for several days in a row. Stripers was like the things that were there one day and gone tomorrow. And everybody knows how those things are. Their pneumatic is all good.
Now, what year did you buy that bait tank from me?
I think it was 2018, 29, maybe in 2019 when I bought that thing from you. I think it was 2018 though.
And then I think shortly after that,
I moved down here.
Somebody told me that fishing had actually got so bad. I know Stan Bagwell and them did it. They just started going to Kiwi and taking people catching spots.
I was doing a lot of Kiwi trips in 2019 and 2020. I did a lot of Kiwi trips starting usually mid-August is whenever I would start going up there, because typically in late August, early September on Hartwell, you get that early morning shallow hump bite near the Deep River channel. So you get up 25 foot of water right close to deep water. Right at daylight, you'd have a big push of hybrids that would come up there, and you'd be able to smack them pretty good in certain spots. But we lost that with the fish that were gone and the water quality situation that was on Hartwell. So it just got tough on Hartwell. So I was doing a lot of trips up on Kiwi 2019 and spring of 2020. I did a lot of trips on Kiwi. Yep.
So people were just as happy to catch spots up there as they was to catch hybrid on Hartwell.
Oh yeah, 3-4 pound spot. Hey man, 3-4 pound spot 4 at a time ain't so bad, is it?
Absolutely.
And you can absolutely eat those fish. They're good to eat.
Yeah, they're actually good eating.
Mm.
So how you liking the salt life down there?
It ain't so bad. I'm going to the Gulf February 1st. I'll be there for 28 days.
Me and Pete were going to try to get out Saturday. Saturday's not looking good at all.
Ain't happening, yeah.
I'm
really calling it a bust.
It's always the day you want to go where the weather picks up.
I just don't really care about freshwater fishing no more.
You'll come back.
Wahoo and some blackfin tuna and a couple of mahi, and it's over. Right?
You'll retire. I give it another year.
All it took was dang one trip with me, and he sold all his damn abus.
Another year, and he'll be anchored up, snoozing somewhere for catfish.
I sold
6 months.
Abus 5 years ago.
Wes won't make it through the summer. That boat will be sold. He'll be back in the river.
No.
JR, where are you fishing out of, JR?
I fish out of the Catawba chain, Lake Wiley,
Okay.
Lake Norman, Lake Hickory.
Yeah.
Lookout Shoals.
Yeah. Do you ever get in the smallmouth down below you there?
I've
River smallmouth?
I've went down and I've caught float tube smallmouth down in Cherokee Falls, the Broad River. Yeah, that's fun. I had to learn the hard way. I started using soft plastics down there, and what I found was the hard plastic crankbaits, the little small square bill hard plastics are what works best for me down there.
Yeah. I always did really well with 1/4 ounce blue and white rattle traps in the rocks, bouncing them
1/4
off.
ounce. Yeah, the little small hard plastics is where it's at.
Little
For the
small ones.
smallmouth.
Yeah.
Super fun. All right, guys. Well, Peter, it's been almost an hour.
You're right, it
At
has.
8:55. So
Yeah.
Peter's got to get up early in the morning. So
Well,
I'll give it a few more minutes. We
got to go to sleep. Hey, listen, Peter, tell us what happened. How you run that plane out and cross the runway? You know.
Oh hell, I was coloring my coloring book there. And next thing I know, I look up and sure, there it was. Yeah, no, that wasn't me.
I said, damn, look at Pete. He done fucked up. He done made national news.
Yeah, some don't even know what that meme is about, but that's kind of funny.
Damn.
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well,
Well,
Wes, you want to send us off? Chris?
We won, Peter.
What's that?
We won 72-64.
Cheaters.
JR, why you in such a hurry to get off now? Because Perry didn't come on and drink with you?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
JR, real quick. Are you fishing the hybrid tournament? Yes or no?
I'm at least going to be there to film it. So I plan on fishing it, but I don't want to tell you a lie. So
I
I'm just
feel
gonna
like
wait
if
and
you
see.
fish it, we must do another bourbon bet.
Okay.
Or a
If we
whiskey
fish
bet.
it,
Excuse me, a whiskey bet. Here we go.
Well, JR, while you're doing all this filming, how about the last video that you did at Chesapeake Bay where I risked my fucking life to
listen,
get you on a big fish, and I haven't seen but like 10 seconds.
I've needed to,
Here we
I've
go,
needed-
homeboy.
I've needed to take a step back. I'm
Wes, I'm
overwhelmed.
still waiting for that Mahi
Step
video
back.
from last June.
You didn't want to, you didn't. Listen, y'all hear this
It's
shit?
coming. It's coming, Wes.
Step
It's
back.
coming.
You
I
didn't
promise,
say nothing
it's
about
coming.
stepping back when I had my boat out there in them 5-foot fucking waves trying to get you on a fish. Boat captivating and shit. You didn't say nothing about
Captivating.
stepping back.
Wes calls it captivating.
Wes,
not
tell
captivating.
him about the spinner
Captivating
sharks.
about it.
Wes.
Listen, y'all can say what you want to, but just tell him, Rusty. Hey, I love to catch a spinner shark.
I would
Hey,
love
Listen,
to too.
there's not
They,
another fish out there that'll jump up, dance, spin circles, and smoke a drag like a spinner shark. A tarpon won't even do it.
I hear those spinner sharks are easy
Yeah.
catch inshore where there's the most micro orgasms. Is that right?
Orgasm, that's right.
We get it's funny when we get in areas that they are down here, especially at the end of our jetties down here in Charleston. Our jetties stick out about 3 miles on one side, 2.5 miles on the other side. When you get a group of them in here, man, they will get on a hook. If you put a sizable bait about the size of 2 fists together, they will bite. They will bite faster than a lot of these sandbar sharks and other things we've got down here. But you know when you got one on because your line's in the water and that fish is about 35, 40 yards to the right or left from where you think he is, and he's in the air. They get up pretty quick.
Do you guys have a lot of shrimp boats right at the inlet there?
Yeah, we got a lot of shrimp boats that run out to about 45 to 50 feet is about as deep as you'll see them out of here, which is 45 foot, so about 12 miles, 12, 14 miles.
In our neck of the woods, we get behind the shrimp boats and we catch all the spinner sharks.
Yep,
and
black
sharks
tips,
and whatever
black
else.
tips, spinner
Yep.
sharks. Yep, we get those up here too. And when I got a shark trip in the Caesar calm, I'll go get behind them and drift dead baits behind them and stuff like that. And it's usually a 30-second hookup when you throw
That's
it in
right.
the water.
Hey, y'all don't knock on dang charter boat trips that go shark fishing behind shrimp boats. It's easy, fast, quick, pleasing to the tourists. Trust me.
Trust me, it makes people smile and they're happy, and they
That's
like
right.
seeing.
That's
those
the only
big
time
stuff.
I will target a shark. Only time. If you got kids on board that want to catch a shark, that's it.
Yep. Happens
Right.
a lot.
Ain't you special?
We're actually going to stick to the 1 hour limit tonight. And thanks for coming by, Captain Rusty. You'll have
Hold on a
to.
minute. We ain't sticking to shit. Hold on a minute. Listen. Hey,
Hey,
last week,
Weekly thing. I'd like to get in on these things more often. Are you guys going to do this every week?
we've been doing it every week for 2 years.
Well, shit. I'm just now finding out about it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll send you an invite. You don't have to accept it, and we'll just start sending you an invite from time to time.
That'd be
So
good, man.
You can
I-
hop
A
on. if
lot
you
of it's
want.
just a free for all. We talk shit and drink bourbon.
If you want to stay on here longer than a fucking hour, bring you some liquor. Because if he ain't drinking, he wants to go to bed. Motherfucker got to go to bed. If Scott Perry was on here drinking liquor with him, 2 weeks ago they stayed up to 2 o'clock in the fucking morning talking to each other.
I'll have my setup a little better next time. I'll get my. This was a last minute thing. I saw what was going on. I texted Wes. I was like, "Hey man, get me on there real quick." I got something to share with you.
Sounds
JR,
good. It
we
was,
got 20. We got 25 people watching on your screen,
I
17 on
know,
mine, and you want to get off.
Yeah, well, if we cut them off now, then they'll come back for more next week.
And then when we cut them off now, they might say, fuck them. I was watching, they cut it off. So
The
I
real
ain't-
reason why you got so many is because Hovis is on right now.
Hovis was awesome that you come on, Hovis. Hopefully you'll come on more often. And thanks, Pete. Thanks, Wes. Thank you, Captain
Hold on a minute,
Rusty.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Hovis, how you doing, buddy? What's going on and where you at with your treatment and all that good stuff?
No, I'm back 120%. Just eating all that medicine they give you.
What medicine you
It
eating?
don't
How
it
did I
don't
get
take long
120?
nowadays. They'll get you back up on your feet.
What all they got you on? What you taking?
I have no idea, Wes. I could not tell you.
Just answer the
Couldn't
good
tell
shit.
you.
The good shit.
Like some what have I got? Some blood pressure, some blood thinner, something for cholesterol. I don't know.
Did you have to change your diet a lot?
You're supposed to, but I changed it a little bit, and I'm gonna see what the cholesterol medicine does. Changing your diet's tough.
I believe I'd change it a whole lot until I knew what cholesterol medicine
Scott
was
Perry,
doing.
why would you want to just join our show? What are you talking about? All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching Real Fisherman, and thank you, Wes. Thank you, Pete.
Hey, hold on a
Thank you,
minute.
Captain Rusty.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you, Chris
Joe, you
Hovis.
can leave. Pete, you can get the fuck out too. Me and Rusty's gonna stay on here.
All right, well, if you guys want to stay on,
I'm good. Yeah.
have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Good night. I'm getting
Nice
off
to meet
here
you,
too.
JR.
See, look, everybody's already talking about what the fuck. Are y'all really getting off now? See?
You want to stay on, Wes?
Well, I don't see why not. Hell, hold on a minute. Hold on. I know how to keep you on. Hold on. Don't go nowhere.
Wes, it's past your bedtime, anyways.
I know. He's talking all this crap, but
Oh, hell.
9:30, he's ready to rock. He's ready to go to snore.
There's about 30 minutes left in that bottle, it looks like.
Yeah, you don't. That's Crown Royal. That's not bourbon.
That's that damn prison hooch.
That wasn't even a real swig.
I know it wouldn't. That'll keep you on here, though, won't it?
I doubt it. I'm tired. Good night, guys.
Yeah, I'm out here too. I gotta be up at 3:50 in the morning. So, well, see
Rusty,
ya.
I'll send you an invite next week, buddy. You can get on with
Do
it.
that. Do that, brother.
Y'all have a good one.
Good talking with y'all.
Good night.
See you, buddy.